Welcome to Friday Friends, RI Elder Info's weekly look at the organizations and individuals providing resources for Rhode Island seniors, caregivers, and professionals.
Good morning, everyone. Welcome to Friday Friends. It is a beautiful Friday out after a scorching hot week. I am so glad that you took some time out of your day to join me this morning. I am, for those of you who don't know, I am Deb Burton, the founder and creator of RI Elder Info and rielderinfo.com. I hope that you've already checked out rielderinfo.com. It is the most comprehensive resource for our seniors, our caregivers, and the professionals who serve them. If you have a question, RI Elder Info in all probability has the answer. And if by some chance you can't find the answer, you can always give me a call at 401-585-0509, and I'd be more than happy to answer your questions to the best of my ability. And if I don't have those answers, then I will find them and get back to you. I promise. So every week we meet here at 9 a.m. on Friday to talk about different resources that are available out there in the community to help you be successful. And so what we do certainly would not be possible without the support of our sponsors. So I give a big shout out to Oak Street Health. They have 3 locations, one in Warwick over by the Christmas tree shop, 2 in Providence, 1 in Woonsocket, and they do primary care, comprehensive primary care for individuals who are on Medicare. Another huge shout out going out to United Healthcare. They also provide a wide variety of healthcare resources for individuals. Great programs. There's also Tamarisk Assisted Living. Great assisted living right over by Warwick Mall, where it really is a sense of community and a sense of home. You can give my friend Susie a call over there. Susan is an absolute love, and she will take care of your loved ones or you as though you were a member of her own family. Of course, what I do, because I do a lot of things, but tech and running live stream are not my best forte. I have D&B Media, who's running behind the scenes right now, making sure that everything comes out okay, that you can see me clearly, and make sure that the information that we need presented on the stream comes up okay. So thanks to Ben Barber of D&B Media. And because I know that you visited rielderinfo.com, that is the magic of England Studio. They are web designers, and they did an absolutely and truly award-winning job on the creation of rielderinfo.com. So again, I can't do what I do without the support of my sponsors and donors. I even have a big event coming up on August 5th right here. So if you see me now, you'll be able to see me on August 5th, called Calling All Veterans Day. Big shout out on that one to, again, Oak Street Health, the Care Concierge, and Independent Benefit Solutions. They are absolutely going to make this amazing on August 5th. It is complete resources dedicated to our veterans, military members, and their families. So I hope, make sure that you tune in. That one's not on a Friday. So I hope that you'll join me on August 5th. So today's guest is Catherine LeBlanc from the Social Security Administration, and she is going to share with us Social Security scams that are going on out there, because we are dedicating the entire month of June to raising awareness of elder abuse and how to report it. Welcome, Catherine.
Good morning, Deb. Thank you. I'm happy to be here.
Yes, thank you. So, a lot of times these days, it seems I'm getting lots of calls from what appears to be local numbers that are telling me that my Social Security number has been frozen because of all kinds of crazy nonsense. So tell me, what are some of the more common scams, and what does it sound like, and what people should do when they aren't sure if it's a scammer on the phone?
Yeah, thanks, Deb, for that. great question, because it is very timely, and there are so many scams out there right now. And you're right, there are a lot of them. The scammers are getting pretty creative on their stories, and I even had a friend call me and said that and the Colombian cartel had found her number, and they were using it. So she needed to give that number to her so that they could contact Social Security and give her a new number. I mean, why she believed this, I have no idea. So she didn't give the whole number, which is good. But basically, the three words that we say is, if you get a call that someone is claiming to be from Social Security and you're questioning that, just hang up. We do ask that you report it to OIG, so we get some information. Get there, if they give you their name, get their name, their phone number. If it's a cell phone, you should probably see the number, but that's not always helpful, because we know now that they can make the caller ID any number that they want. Sometimes the caller ID comes up and it's my number that they're calling, so I know it's not real. So we do ask that if you question whether or not this person is really from Social Security, that you just hang up and then report it to our Office of Inspector General. And the website, thanks for putting that up, is oig.ssa.gov. So what are some of the other things that they are doing? So they are sending letters in the mail as well. I did have one of my ship counselors in one of the senior centers send me an email and ask me, does Social Security send letters in the mail that claim to be this and asking for certain information or to call? Unfortunately, they have been some instances where the mail is used. That's not very common, maybe because of mail fraud involved, I don't know. But most common is just the phone calls, as you know. I myself have gotten dozens of those phone calls, and the reports of the phone calls are increasing more and more frequently. We do want you to know that if you do give a call, get a call, and you do give that private information out, so the first thing you should do is not to panic and to report it. Unfortunately, Social Security can't do much about what the scammers do, so that's a matter for the police. But we do ask that you report it to us. And when some of the things that we can do, like we can advise you. We do have on our website, which is ssa.gov, right on our homepage, it says, what should I do if I get a call claiming there's a problem with my Social Security number or my Social Security account? So click on that link. It will give you lots of information about what you can do. So basically, you're going to want to call the credit bureaus, put a fraud block on your record. I do a lot of work with the international students in the Providence area of the colleges, and the ones who come and they need a Social Security number because they are working on campus or they've gotten some kind of internship. And I had one student send me an email saying that she had gotten that call already. She just got her Social Security number, and she already got a call saying, your number has been flagged. It's fraudulent. We need to change your number. And she gave it. But of course, she doesn't even have a credit report yet because she just got the number. So I just, warned her, you'll have to put a fraud block on there. We can also do something on our end with Social Security. We can add extra security. We can, make sure that no one can call up and change your direct deposit or change your address. So there are things on our end, if you're collecting Social Security benefits, that we can do. But if you're not collecting Social Security benefits, we're limited as to what action we can take to prevent further fraud.
So that's one of those things, it sounds like, within the Social Security Administration's capacity, the checks and the things that Social Security can control are things that, you can stop those direct deposits, that kind of thing. But the other matters, if someone has your number and they're applying for credit, that's a police matter. That is much, much larger. Have you found that there's been any changes or any uptick during COVID and social isolation in these scams coming through?
not particularly due to COVID, but they've been increasing. I mean, it's hard to tell if it's because of COVID, but the problem is they're working. And when the scammers, even if they get one person out of 500 that provides them with that information, or sometimes they threaten them and they say, we're going to shut it off. You need to send credit, a debit card, a gift card or something like that. We would never ask you. We would never threaten you. Sometimes they get angry. I've had one. I tried to engage one time, and they do start to get angry because I'll say, I work for Social Security. You work for Social Security? And I say, what's your name and where you're calling from? And our central office is in Baltimore. Where are you calling from? And then they start to get angry. Sometimes they even start to curse at you, but eventually they'll hang up. So I don't know that it's increasing because of COVID, but it definitely is increasing. Like I said, because it's working. So that's what we need to stop. That's we love that you're getting this word out for us, helping us spread the message. We've got to stop this. Or else while it's still working, it's not going to stop.
Yep. And so do you happen to know by any chance? So Carrie Lynn Edge asked, how does a fraud block impact a person's credit? Are they able to buy a car on credit? Are they able to apply for a new credit card, et cetera? Are you aware of any of that?
Yeah, so that's probably more of a question for the credit bureaus as to how that would affect it. Right. Normally, from what I understand, is that no one can apply without some kind of secondary verification.
Okay. And so with the Social Security Administration, they are sending them by letters now. The scam artists, you said they are sending stuff in the mail now. So that's kind of more creative, more expensive on their part.
Expensive, creative, and then the repercussions of that, should they get caught, are probably more severe as well. I have not heard a lot of reports that a letter was mailed. That one person from, like I said, one of my ship counselors did ask that question. So I did some research and I did find that there are a few instances out there where someone has sent a letter.
And when you're referring to your ship counselors, can you just share with the viewers, if they're not familiar, what a ship counselor is or does?
Yeah, so ship counselors are a great resource across the state of Rhode Island, and I refer lots of people to them. So they're counselors that work in the senior centers, and they assist seniors and basically anyone. If you're disabled and you're on Medicare and you're looking for a supplement to Medicare, or you just need assistance with picking a plan, if you're getting Medicare A, B, and you're looking for C and D. So Medicare A and B, you file for with Social Security, but any other plans that you would file for, like Part C or Part D, or prescription plans, Medicare Advantage plans, those type of supplements to basic Medicare, you would apply for on your own. And we all know how confusing that can all be. So we love our ship counselors, and big shout out to them. They're great help to us. We partner with them all the time, and they help us out with things that we can't assist clients with.
Okay. Yeah, they are a great resource, and they're free, and they do receive extensive training. So people should feel comfortable with the ship counselors. So I don't know if this is something that you might be able to answer. It had come up long before COVID, but at one time, the expectation was that everybody would have a real ID. I forget if it was by October of 2019 or October of 2020. Otherwise, they may not be able to enter certain federal buildings. Do you know where that might stand? Do you need to have a certain kind of ID to get in to see someone in person at the Social Security office?
So there was something that was questioned, and I did reach out to management about this. As far as we know, a real ID will not be needed to enter a federal building. Social Security in Providence, most of the offices across, well, I know none of the offices across Rhode Island are in federal buildings anymore. Providence used to be in the building on 380 Westminster, and we've moved to 1 Empire Street, which is in the same building as Roger Williams. So we're not in a federal building. So it would really be if you were going to go to Boston, and you had to go into like the Tip O'Neill building or something like that. As far as we know, you're not going to need a real ID in order to get into Social Security offices across the country.
So now you guys are in the building that's kind of right across the street from the Providence Public Library.
We are. So we're catty corner across from Trinity Rep.
Yep.
Rhode Islanders like to say we used to be. So I think we used to be that 38 Studios. I'm not sure if that's what it was, but yeah.
All right.
And the landmarks.
Yes. And we like to do a lot of things in person here. Any suggestions for parking? Do you guys have a parking lot down there, or just regular street parking?
Yeah, so thanks for bringing that up, because during the pandemic, Social Security offices are closed to walk-in traffic. And I've been working for Social Security, and I would say 32 many years. But I never, if you had told me 35 years ago that a Social Security office would be closed to the public, I would have taken that bet in a heartbeat and said, no way, no way. But here we are. We closed on March 17th, 2020. We closed our doors to walk-in traffic. And we very, very quickly had to get all of our employees working remotely. So that was a huge task. But we were able to do it. And we are conducting all our business virtually now. So you can, you can call an office. You can conduct your business online if you create a My Social Security account, which is an online account that you can create that will allow you to conduct your business with us online, so that you didn't have to do it in person or by the phone. Hopefully, there is talk about slowly getting employees back to the office. We always did allow people who had what we call dire need situations. So anyone that had to have an in-person interview, we were, the management of each of the offices were making appointments, and these people could come in. So if there is someone out there and you have a dire need to get into a Social Security office or speak with someone, please call the offices. We are conducting those types of interviews. But when we do open up, to get back to your question, so when we do open up, unfortunately, the Providence office does not have free parking, and we don't have a parking lot either. So, we're right in the heart of downtown. It's a great spot to be, but not when you have to park your car. So.
That's it. You gotta get in where you fit in for the car. So, question for, if you are working with, maybe your older parents, or someone that you are helping, and they're having some difficulties. Maybe someone has, gotten a hold of their information or gotten a hold of their banking account information. Are third parties, like the adult children, are they able to contact the Social Security office on behalf of their parents to say, yeah, my dad did give out his banking information, so we've got to shut down his bank and open a new account, so we need the Social Security check deposited elsewhere? Can people do that? And what kind of security measures are in place to make sure that it's people who are doing the right thing and not people who are like, oh yes, please redirect the money into my account, my dad's account, that it's legit? How do they do that? If you're legit, how do you help someone, and how do you prevent it from being predatory?
Yeah, great question. And we don't know which. You could be the legitimate, really say the legitimate child, but you could be the child of the person that you're calling about, and you could have the best of intentions and really be helping your mom or dad, but we don't know that when you're over the phone. So whenever anybody calls Social Security for whatever reason, we have to ask 5 pieces of identifying information. So, we ask your name, we ask your Social Security number, we ask your address, If there's caller ID, sometimes we have caller ID, so sometimes we can use that as well. And we're going to ask a couple of other information pieces that maybe somebody who is trying to steal your identity would not know. Speaking of that online account, when you create that online account, we ask what we call out of wallet questions. So if someone steals your wallet, they wouldn't know the answers to those questions.
Okay.
So if you are a child, an adult child, trying to help a parent with a Social Security matter, or with, you know, this type of scam, if they did get a scam call, I suggest that you have the person right there with you. So what normally will happen is we'll tell you to put the person on the phone. So put your mom or dad on the phone, and we will ask your mom or dad those questions. And then we will ask permission to speak with your son or daughter. And that's usually the way we can do it. The other thing that you can do is, and unfortunately, you know, we all know that with advanced age comes dementia and other conditions that might diminish their ability to handle their own funds. So we do have something called a representative payee, and that is someone who is hopefully related or a very close family member that can apply to be your representative payee. So it's an extensive application that they would have to complete with us, and we would have to contact a medical source to verify that the person is not capable of handling their own funds. And we you know, get your ID, and normally it's an in-person interview. We've been trying to do them over the phone as much as possible. And then this person would get your checks for you once they've been approved to act on your behalf, and that you have been found to be not capable of handling your own money. Then, so that child who is trying to help the parent who has advanced age or maybe dementia and not able to do that over the phone, that's another option for them as well.
And are your phone numbers, I'm just thinking in terms of individuals who may be really hard of hearing or deaf, do you have access to like the TTY or other kinds of interpreter services?
We do. All offices have a TTY line. The Providence office also has a video line that you can use. So when you call up, we do have that. Not all offices have that ability to do the video, but the Providence office does. The larger offices usually do.
Awesome. Awesome. And so if you could just reiterate, what are some of the common ways that scammers are trying to get people's Social Security information?
Well, number one are the phone calls. So they'll call up and they you know, come with some kind of crazy story. Normally it's your number has been identified with some type of bad thing, you know. Like I said, why someone would believe Colombian cartel, I don't know. But anyway, and it's there's so many stories out there. It's hard to pinpoint one, but they're, you know, crazy stories about how your number has somehow been identified as being used fraudulently, and we either need to change it or you need to give us information so that we can, you know, stop it, whatever that is. Those kind of calls, Social Security would never call you. Like I said, we'll never call you to threaten you. We would never call you out of the blue. Normally, we can't say that Social Security would never call you, because we do. If you're conducting business with us, then we would call you. Normally, we would send a letter first saying we're going to call you. If you ever have any question as to the validity, then you can call our national 800 number, which is 1-800-772-1213.
Okay. You know, it's funny, I myself am accustomed to just hang up. And you know, when you run a nonprofit, you need to get, you know, the nonprofit ID, you need to make contact with the IRS and Social Security, all these different things. And I am so accustomed to just hanging up that I actually hung up on calls that I really needed to take. But, you know, the proportion, I think that was probably 3 times I hung up on a legitimate call to literally hundreds of fake calls that I get on a regular basis. You know, your home line, your cell phone numbers, your business lines, they don't care. They're calling them all. And it's crazy. Is it possible, if somebody's social security number is compromised, can you issue a new social security number?
It is possible, but it's rare.
It is. Okay.
So it normally, it is not done for problems with credit.
Okay.
Unless it's really causing you a lot of problems and you filed police reports and you just can't get it straightened out. Just think how many things, you know, at my age, how many facility offices or companies have my social security number and associated with it. So the thought of having to change that is daunting. So, you know, take those other steps, protect it. Don't carry your social security card in your wallet. Don't carry your Medicare card in your wallet. We have taken steps to get the social security number off the Medicare card, which is great, but still, you know, they still don't want you to carry those cards around if you can help it, just in case your wallet does get stolen. Call and report if something happens, and don't be embarrassed. We want to help you, and we will give you the guides in order to do that. We may not be able to do what you want us to do as far as stopping anything that might happen, but we'll help you along the way. The only real time that you can get your social security number changed easily, and I say easily, but if you are a victim of domestic abuse and you're trying to, you know, create some type of new identity, and maybe your abusive partner would know your social security number, in those cases, we can change your number.
You know, that's interesting. That's actually really important information, because domestic violence does happen to our older adults. And sometimes it is a function of an abusive relationship that has aged. And sometimes the violence is something that starts in relation to the aging process, or one partner's need to exert control over the other, sometimes in relation to a disability that has come on because of aging. So it is good to know. Last week we talked to Jean Catagno from the Haven for Elder Justice, and they provide shelters for older abuse, victims of elder abuse who are older. And so I think it's really important that people know that your social security number can be changed in that instance. I didn't know that, you know, because we want to keep people safe. And for anybody watching out there, if you feel like you're in an unsafe situation, if you suspect somebody's in an unsafe situation, if you think that someone has accessed yours or someone else's social security number and maybe rerouted the banking information, that's elder abuse. And it's not our job to as lay people, it's not our job to prove that or, you know, sleuth around to get evidence. No, our job as, you know, Jane Q. Public or John Q. Public is to report that over to the Office of Healthy Aging. And they have investigators that can work with the Social Security Office. They'll work with the Attorney General's office and the police. So if you think that somebody has accessed, you know, a Social Security number inappropriately, you can always call Office of Healthy Aging at 462-0555. And they'll be happy to help you, you know, go through the police process, help you with the Social Security Administration, all of that. But, you know, some of these folks, you know, they're not necessarily local, right? Some of these scammers?
No, a lot of times they have strong accents that are sometimes hard to understand. Yeah. But that's not really any reason by itself to not believe them, because we do have employees from all over that, you know, become citizens, come to work here. We do hire bilingual employees as well. So just because they have an accent doesn't mean that you should not believe that they are credible from Social Security. It's those other things, calling you out of the blue, threatening you, asking you for, you know, your private information. Sometimes people will call up Social Security and, you know, they're so programmed not to give out their social security number. So, they call me and I said, okay, what's your social security number? Well, I don't want to give you that over the phone. And I'm like, well, you called me.
Yeah. Yeah.
If
And
you
you know
call an
what?
office, you probably will have to give your number. But if we call you, you probably, if we're calling you, we already have your social security number, most likely. So we're not going to
Right. Yeah, and that totally makes sense. Absolutely. So Carrie Lynn was asking, I'm curious too, do we ever catch these scammers? Do they ever get caught?
Yeah, so we have OIG does report every once in a while. You can go on their website and you can get updates, and they report. Unfortunately, as when you report the phone number, as quickly as we catch them, they've changed everything and they've moved on. But we have caught some. Yeah.
So they're doing this like a business.
Yes, absolutely.
And I'm betting it's $1 billion business.
It has to be. It's got to be working in order for them to keep doing it. Because if it didn't work, then they would stop.
Yeah, that totally makes sense.
Yeah.
That totally makes sense. So, I mean, so if somebody's getting a call, what are the 3 words they should remember?
Yeah, just hang up.
And if
it really is from us, we'll call back or we'll send you a letter.
A real letter.
Okay.
Oh, Catherine, this has been great. Thank you so much for coming on this morning. I think we shared a lot of information for folks.
We did. It's been a lot of fun.
Yeah. When in doubt, just hang up.
Just hang up. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, thank you so much for coming on today. I appreciate it.
You're welcome. Have a great day.
You too.
Bye-bye.
Well, everybody, simple 3 words, just hang up. If you aren't sure whether or not it's a legitimate call, Catherine made a great point that if it really is Social Security, they've already got your information, so they don't need to ask for your number. Don't give it out. Don't carry your Medicare card around with you in your wallet. Keep those things private. If you do need help, there is help available out there. You can contact the office, the OIG office at oig.ssa.gov, and they can help you. So if by some chance you did give out the information, don't panic, don't freak out. You need to notify the credit reporting companies, and you need to notify the police. But these scam artists are really good at what they do. So, it's not a fault of yours if they get you. They're doing this like a business. So I hope everybody has learned something today. I hope that this is something that you have liked and that you have shared this information out today, because I know that there are people watching who need this information, who are having their phones just rung off the hook by these scam artists, and they really need to know what can happen and what to do if they do get caught up in one of the scams. It happens to all of us sometimes. That's no big, it's not nothing to be embarrassed or ashamed about. So make sure that you reach out when you need help. I look forward to talking to everybody again next week. Again, June is Elder Abuse Awareness Month. Specifically, June 15th is World Elder Abuse Awareness Day. If you think someone is in an unsafe situation, whether that is physical abuse, emotional abuse, financial abuse, sexual abuse, even neglect, make sure that you give the Office of Healthy Aging a call at 401-462-0555. We're all in this together, folks. We got to look out for each other. I look forward to seeing you all next week. Have a great time. Bye-bye.
If you liked this video, please follow us on social media and subscribe on YouTube. For more information, visit rielderinfo.com or call 401-585-0509. If you have any questions, email deb@rielderinfo.com.